This morning, the London silver market finally broke. The rental cost for physical silver just hit 8% in the last 6 hours. That is not a statistic. That is a death rattle. That is the sound of the banking system choking on its own greed. They told you that your money was safe in the vault. They lied. The vaults are empty. The banks are fighting each other for the last few bars of metal left on Earth. And because they are fighting, your savings are evaporating. You worked for that money. You sacrificed for that money. You trusted them to keep it safe. But this morning, that trust was betrayed. The system is not just sick. It is terminally ill. The spike to 8% is the highest we have seen since the great financial collapse of 2008. But this time, there is no bailout coming. This time, there is no safety net. The paper market is burning down. The physical reality is taking over. And you are standing in the middle of the fire. The price you see on your screen is a lie. It is a ghost. It represents metal that does not exist. The real price is infinity because you cannot buy what they do not have. This is the moment we warned you about. This is the moment the music stops. And there are no chairs left for you. For decades, they played a game with your future. They sold paper certificates. They sold digital promises. They told you that a piece of paper was the same as a bar of silver. They created 1,000 paper ounces for every 1 real ounce in the vault. It was a confidence trick. It was a magic show. And for a long time, the audience believed the magician. You believed the magician. You thought the rabbit was actually in the hat. But this morning, the hat fell off the table. And there was no rabbit. There was only empty space. The lease rate explosion is the proof. Banks do not pay 8% interest to borrow a metal unless they are desperate. They are terrified. They are shorting the market and they have been caught. They promised to deliver silver they do not own. Now the owners want their metal back. And the banks are realizing they have nothing to give. This is a default. It is happening in slow motion and then all at once. The paper price might dip. It might dive. Do not be fooled. That is the trap. That is the algorithm trying to shake you out. While the digital price flashes red, the real metal is moving into strong hands. It is moving out of the West. It is disappearing into private vaults. The algorithm wants to hide this truth from you. It wants you to stay asleep. It wants you to keep your money in their dying system. Smash the like button right now to force this video out to the world. Do it for your neighbor. Do it for the family that is still sleeping. We have to wake them up before the banks close the doors. The reason for this panic lies in the East. It lies in a decision made in silence. Last month, the world's largest producer locked the gate. China secretly banned the export of silver. They did not announce it on the news. They did not hold a press conference. They just turned the key. 70% of the global supply was cut off overnight. Think about that. Imagine if 70% of the gas stations in your city closed today. Imagine the lines. Imagine the fights. Imagine the panic. That is what is happening in the banking sector right now. China knows what is coming. They know that paper money is dying. They are hoarding the real assets. They are keeping the solar panels. They are keeping the electronics. They are keeping the medical devices. They are keeping the silver. And they are leaving the West with nothing but worthless paper dollars. You might think this does not affect you because you do not own silver. You are wrong. This affects the phone in your hand. It affects the car in your driveway. It affects the solar panels on your roof. Silver is not just money. It is the blood of the modern world. Without silver, there are no electronics. Without silver, there are no missiles. Without silver, there is no modern medicine. The shortage is not just a financial crisis. It is a civilization crisis. When the factories stop getting silver, the assembly lines stop. When the assembly lines stop, the workers go home. When the workers go home, the economy dies. You are seeing the first crack in the dam. The water is leaking through. The lease rate at 8% is the first drop of water. Soon, the whole wall will collapse. And when it does, it will wash away your pension. It will wash away your retirement. It will wash away the illusion of your wealth. You have been living in a bubble of fake prosperity. That bubble just popped. The air is hissing out. Can you hear it? Can you feel the ground shaking beneath your feet? That is the sound of reality returning. They will tell you not to panic. The news anchors will smile. The politicians will make speeches. They will say it is a temporary glitch. They will say the supply chain is resilient. Do not believe a word of it. They are trying to keep you calm while they steal the lifeboats. They are loading the gold and silver onto their own trucks while telling you to hold on to your paper cash. They did this in 2008. They did this in 1929. They do it every time the cycle ends. They sacrifice the common man to save the elite. You are the sacrifice. Your labor is the fuel for their machine. And now that the machine is broken, they will strip you of everything you have left to try and fix it. But they cannot fix this. You cannot print silver. You cannot type silver into a computer. You have to dig it out of the ground. And the mines are empty. The grades are falling. The energy cost to mine is skyrocketing. The physics are against them. The geology is against them. And now time is against them. Look at your grocery bill. Look at your insurance premium. Look at your rent. You feel the pain every day. That pain is the dollar dying. That pain is the currency losing its purchasing power. Silver is the thermometer. When the thermometer breaks, it means the fever is fatal. The spike in lease rates is the system confirming that the dollar is rejected. The banks do not want dollars anymore. They want collateral. They want something real. They want the metal. If the banks do not trust the dollar, why do you work for it? Why do you save it? Why do you let it sit in a bank account earning 0% while inflation eats it alive? You are feeding the beast that is killing you. You are holding the bag for the criminals who destroyed your future. It is time to drop the bag. It is time to step out of the matrix. The window of opportunity is closing. It is slamming shut. Right now, you can still trade your paper for metal. You can still trade your digits for ounces. But that window will not stay open forever. Soon, there will be no silver available at any price. Do not wait for the government to save you. The government is the cause of the problem. They spent too much. They borrowed too much. They promised too much. Now the bill is due, and they want you to pay it. They will pay it with your inflation. They will pay it with your taxes. They will pay it with your poverty. The deficit is out of control. The debt is unpayable. The only way out is a default. And a default on gold and silver is the first step. When the COMEX declares force majeure, it will be too late. When they say they will settle your contract in cash instead of metal, it will be over. You will get a check for the paper price, but you will not be able to buy a loaf of bread with it. The cash will be trash. The metal will be king. This has happened in Rome. This has happened in Weimar, Germany. This has happened in Venezuela. It is happening here. It is happening now. The geography changes, but the math remains the same. Fiat currency always returns to its intrinsic value. 0. The inventory at the COMEX has dropped 20% in the last quarter alone. That is the registered inventory. That is the metal that is supposed to be there for delivery. It is bleeding out. It is flowing east. It is going to India. It is going to China. It is going to Russia. The nations that produce things are taking the real money. The nations that consume things are left with the debt. We are a nation of consumers. We produce debt. We export inflation. And now the world is rejecting our export. The lease rate spike is the world saying no. It is the market screaming, stop. You need to listen to that scream. It is a warning siren. It is the air raid siren before the bombs fall. You have a few days, maybe a few weeks, but you do not have months. The speed of this collapse will shock you. It moves slowly at first, then it moves all at once. We are entering the all-at-once phase, the exponential phase, the terminal phase. You have a choice to make today. It is a binary choice. It is a simple choice. You can be a victim or you can be a victor. You can be the sheep that gets sheared, or you can be the wolf that survives. The victim waits for permission. The victim waits for the news to tell them what to do. The victim trusts the system. The victor takes action. The victor trusts his own eyes. The victor prepares. Preparation is not fear. Preparation is love. You prepare because you love your family. You prepare because you want to protect your children. You prepare because you refuse to be a slave. Buying silver today is not an investment. It is an act of rebellion. It is a vote of no confidence in the central banks. It is a declaration of independence. When you hold physical metal in your hand, you are your own bank. You have no counterparty risk. You have no lease rate risk. You have no default risk. You hold truth, and in a world of lies, truth is the most valuable asset. They will call you crazy. They will call you a hoarder. They will call you a doom monger. Let them talk. Let them laugh. They laughed at Noah when he built the ark. They laughed until the rain started. The rain has started. The 8% lease rate is the first thunderclap. The storm is here. The shelter is open, but the door is closing. Do not be the person begging for entry when the water is rising. Be the person inside. Be the person with the dry towels. Be the person with the food. Be the person with the silver. The new reality is here. In this new reality paper, contracts are toilet paper. Promises are wind. Only what you can hold is yours. If you cannot touch it, you do not own it. Learn this lesson now or learn it the hard way later. The tuition for the hard way is everything you own. This is the end of the era of abundance. This is the beginning of the era of scarcity. For 40 years, we had cheap goods. We had cheap labor. We had cheap money. That is over. The China ban proves it. The supply chain fracture proves it. The frantic borrowing of silver proves it. We are moving into a world where having things is better than having money. Having a full pantry is better than a full bank account. Having a silver coin is better than a stock portfolio. The rules have flipped. The pyramid has inverted. The assets at the bottom are now the assets at the top. The derivatives at the top are now the dust at the bottom. Gravity is taking over. The financial physics are reasserting themselves. You cannot defy gravity forever. The suspension of disbelief is over. The curtain is falling. Remember the number 8%. Write it down. Put it on your fridge. Tell your spouse. 8% is the line in the sand. It is the breaking point. It is the signal that the dam has cracked. Do not ignore it. Do not pretend it is normal. It is not normal. It is historic. It is catastrophic. It is the bell tolling for the dollar. Every hour that passes is an hour the banks are using to save themselves. They are not using that time to save you. You must save yourself. You must become your own central bank. You must become your own supply chain. You must become your own security. The cavalry is not coming. The politicians are not coming. The regulators are asleep at the wheel. You are the captain of your ship. Steer it out of the storm. Steer it towards the metal. Steer it towards safety. The silence from the mainstream media is deafening. They are not talking about the silver squeeze. They are talking about celebrities. They are talking about sports. They are talking about distractions. They are distracting you while the house burns down. This is deliberate. This is calculated. If everyone rushed to the bank to withdraw their money, the system would collapse in an hour. So they keep you calm. They keep you entertained. They keep you poor. Do not be entertained. Be angry. Be focused. Be relentless. Hunt for the truth. Hunt for the assets. Hunt for the exit. The door is right there. It is marked physical silver. Walk through it. Walk through it now, before they lock it from the outside. We are witnessing the greatest transfer of wealth in human history. Wealth is not being destroyed. It is merely changing hands. It is moving from the unprepared to the prepared. It is moving from the paper holders to the metal holders. It is moving from the trusting to the skeptical. Which side of the transfer will you be on? Will you be the one handing over your wealth, or will you be the one receiving it? The choice is yours. The consequences are eternal. Your children will live with the decision you make today. make the right one. Do not let their inheritance vanish into the digital void. Secure it with silver. Anchor it with gold. Protect it with knowledge. The night is dark, but silver shines in the dark. It has been money for 5,000 years. It will be money for 5,000 more. The dollar is a blink of an eye in history. It is a failed experiment. It is coming to its natural end. Do not mourn it. Prepare for what comes next. A world built on real value. A world built on hard assets. A world where you cannot print prosperity. It will be a hard world. It will be a tough world. But for those who hold the metal, it will be a world of opportunity. The silver night has begun. Do not fear the darkness. Embrace the metal. Prepare, survive, thrive,